Okay, so we're back on. Thank you. Sorry for that delay and the technicalities of being online still after 2 years of COVID. We haven't figured this completely out, but I hope you're still with us. And I will just give you an overview here of what we are doing in the UN Commission on Public Services in the digital age and the different policies that the EU is putting in place. So if you look at next slide, we will see an overview of that. So here are the EU policy initiatives for blockchain in Europe, and we have a series of initiatives for that area. So we have a joint political vision. We are connecting global and European expertise. We have launched a public-private partnership with industry, and we are investing in EU research, innovation, deployment, startups, and skills. And last but not least, promoting and enabling legal framework. And I will go into all of these points in my next slides. The next slide is about the joint political vision and the partnership we have put together with the European blockchain partners. So with that, it's a partnership. In the next slide, you will see an overview of all the participants in the blockchain partnership, which is all the member states, including Iceland and Norway and Liechtenstein. So this is something that happened very early when the European Commission started thinking about what we should do for blockchain in Europe. First of all, you need to get all the member states together behind this initiative, because if you have the buy-in on a high political level, then you can unlock a lot of other resources and interest and build the communities around it. So this blockchain partnership consists of both governmental and technical experts, which together has set up an ambition to build a European blockchain service infrastructures that I will talk about on the next slide. And the blockchain services partnership has, as I said, an ambition to build a pan-European blockchain services infrastructures that will support public services at a first go, and then also private applications on the network that is being rolled out. And this is really an initiative to show that public services can be a trailblazer for services building on advanced technologies like blockchain. The advantage of such an approach is that we will avoid fragmentation by many national initiatives that might otherwise take place and have duplication of efforts, especially from the cross-border perspective. And the vision is also to make this European blockchain services infrastructure very secure, interoperable, completely in compliance with data protection rules, and also sustainable. So it's a sort of a gold standard that we want to put in place for services using blockchain, in particular for public services at a first go. This will have as an ultimate goal, to strengthen the EU leadership and autonomy in blockchain. Also, by having this approach, we will engage with industry, small and large, and enable them to use their services they're already in the process of building in Europe, building the ecosystem around this public services infrastructure. And in the next slide, I will talk a bit more about what kind of services we have in the blockchain services infrastructure. We see here a set of first use cases that we're in the process of rolling out. It's a quite interesting phase we're in right now, because we're close to going in production with 4 first use cases that have been selected by the blockchain services and the partnership. And the first one is on document traceability. It's a very ubiquitous service that could be used for all kinds of different functionalities. So leveraging the power of blockchain to create digital audit trails of documents. Then we have a self-sovereign identity framework. We heard in the previous discussion how important this is for generic services. It's really an underpinning service for all kinds of different applications that could be innovated on top of blockchain. This self-sovereign identity framework is, for instance, serving a use case on accredited diplomas. So this will enable people to show their credentials for diplomas for education as well as professional life, if they, for instance, want to go and have work abroad or study abroad. And this will be very useful for the citizens of Europe when we get this in place. It's one of the most emblematic use cases that we are working on right now with users and universities across Europe. And then we have, in addition to that, for public service, very, very important trusted data sharing use case that is about the databases that you have for different purposes in member states that, and for legal reasons, you need to exchange data. Might be legal framework in place that requires member states to share data in a certain way. And in particular here, we are looking at exchanges in the area of customs and VAT. And then you see at the bottom a few new use cases that have also been selected that will become in a second wave about financing SMEs, about using also again the self-sovereign identity framework on a EU social security pass that gives access to welfare services, and then also in the area of asylum demand management. In the next slide, we will talk a bit more about what we do for outreach and building community and building the ecosystem around blockchain in Europe. First of all, we have put in place together with the industry a public-private partnership that we call International Association of Trusted Blockchain Applications. This is a multi-stakeholder organization to provide trust and interoperability at the global level. The company was launched in 2000. The association was launched in 2018 in Brussels. It had already been operated a couple of years and has acquired at this point 160 company members. And we also have a governmental advisory forum attached to INATBA, which includes all the member states and also partners from around the world, from USA, Japan, UK, Canada, and Switzerland. We have liaison with UNFCCC, which is very important now in the COP26 and sustainability issues, links with financial institutions, as well as World Trade Organizations. This is very important to discuss how to roll out blockchain together globally for public services. And the INATBA association has been very active setting up working groups on a variety of subjects. You can see a few of them mentioned here. So that is discussing how to unlock barriers and step over barriers that could prevent applications to be rolled out in all these different verticals, and also having a policy dialogue together with regulators that could help identify barriers and how to circumvent rules or help to interpret rules that would help these applications to be rolled out. In the next slide, we will also see a bit on other outreach that we do. I think we will hear more about this in this seminar and conference here from the EU Blockchain Observatory Forum, which is a consortium that operates an outreach of community building and expertise gathering and sharing of information and expertise. We have been working together with partners here for a few years already. There's been a lot of work with experts, both academic and professional individual experts, looking into a variety of topics and thematics that are interesting in the area of blockchain, organizing workshops, building maps of where the global and European blockchain projects are situated right now, and of course engaging with the community of members. There are already over 2,000 members on the forum. And there's also a few trend reports on interesting topic deep dives. Newly, we just launched a report from the Blockchain Observatory Forum on energy efficiency. You can see that on next slide, which has been a topic that has been discussed a lot lately on how can the blockchain technology develop in a way that it supports sustainability issues. You can download all these reports on the Blockchain Observatory Forum website, and you have access to them, and can also engage in the different workshops and so on. So this is a quite important tool for all of you that are interested in the blockchain space to get up to speed on the state of play of different topics in the area. The coming reports from the forum is in non-fungible tokens. There's one in a deep dive in the vertical and healthcare sector and energy sector coming up, and much more. Now, if we look a little bit on the blockchain ecosystem that we try to build, I think we're a couple slides ahead now. We can see that, from starting in financial services on slide 9, on financial services, there has been a lot of other sectors that have appeared and are using blockchain technology. It's much more diverse now. If you can see that on next slide, it's also some information that came from the Blockchain Observatory Forum. Next slide, please. Okay, here we go. So started in the financial service sector, which is clearly where we first saw the first use cases. We have now diversified and see a diversified usage of blockchain into transport sector, energy sector, health and pharma, as well as the public sector, as we see. So still, of course, the banking and security industries is top in sort of engaging and investing in blockchain technology, but we see an uptake in all the other areas that are mentioned here on the slide. And in the next slide, I will talk a bit on what we do in investing in research, innovation, deployment, startups, and skills, both from EU and European Commission perspective. We have been researching on blockchain technology for a while, and we are also under the coming program, Horizon Europe, launching additional work in research on how to make blockchain even more sustainable, secure, and using the new features that are being brought in by all the different actors in this area in a way that can advance and even make the technology underpin services better. We're also using innovation procurement as a tool, so the public authorities as trailblazers using procuring services of innovative nature, and we do that for blockchain under our Digital Europe program, which was adopted yesterday, and this will underpin the European blockchain services infrastructure with new calls coming up in the coming period, in the coming couple of years, and this will help in particular EU technology innovators active in the space to get engaged, build consortia, and help us develop EPSI. And we also engaging with member states, so not only through the European Blockchain Partnership, but we know since after we have this crisis that the member states have received funding that has been pulled together by the European Union for recovery and resilience. We call it Next Generation EU. And in this phase now, when these programs and the funding that has been made available is being rolled out, you can form multi-country projects also in the area of blockchain to use that funding for additional projects that are important between different countries. We have had a very successful co-financing initiative together with the European Investment Bank and the European Investment Fund in setting up a fund for investing in both artificial intelligence and blockchain companies. So this is equity financing together with VCs in this space. We're also working on making Europe more attractive for startups to grow in general and also for blockchain, so that there are policy framework that is in place right now is improved to help this startup ecosystems grow. And finally, but not least, we have an important activity under skills, because we know that there's a very large skills gap, particularly in blockchain. There's a lack of experts and lack of expertise and developers in this space, and we need to support people in stepping up the game here, both from industry and from universities, so that we can have a better supply of blockchain skills in Europe. And I think we can sum up very soon here and go on to the panel. I know we are a little bit over time, But we also, of course, work on the legal angle. We have a few initiatives out right now, which is in the process of legislation. Very important that we have discussed with you probably in other fora is the MiCA, is Market in Crypto Assets proposal for regulation that is out there, as well as the pilot regime for market infrastructures. We recently, in June this year, launched a proposal for a framework for a European digital identity, which will have a very important impact, I think, on and should be integrated with everything we do in self-sovereign identity. And also, finally, we will have on the Data Act, which is about pooling data, creating data spaces, making public data available for use, for various usage. In that section, we have important stakes for blockchain as well. So I think with this, I just close here. It was a little bit over time in your agenda, I'm sure, but I hope the panel can pick up on all these different issues and discuss it with you a bit more interactively in your event right now. I just want to finalize to say that blockchain is indeed very much a team sport. This is why we have taken all these policy actions. This is why we are engaging with the communities through the Blockchain Sovereignty Forum and industry. And this is why we speak in events like this. And I will hand over now to the host. Thank you very much for your attention.